Hey there, it's me, Julie, Fei-Fan Balzer, and I'm here with a quick video tutorial on some different ideas, 4 different ideas for creating chipboard earrings. So I was at Michael's and I found these cute little chipboard or pressboard shapes that come in these little packages. They're by Recollections, and then these are actually wood. I didn't end up using them for this project, but I think they'd be hardier and stand up better. I actually didn't realize the other things were chipboard until I started pulling them apart. Anyway, first easy trick is just grab some jump rings and take one of your pretty little shapes, and then it has a natural kind of little hook for you, and you can just go ahead and slip it on there, and then you just slip a pre-made earring hook on, and then in no time at all you need to do is just close that up, and oops, all you need to do is just close that up, and boom, 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 you have an earring. It really couldn't be easier, and you've now just made a really inexpensive earring. And if you look around at a lot of boutiques, you'll see they have a lot of these sort of natural wood earrings. They're very current right now, so that's kind of cool. So another idea to make them just a little bit fancier is that you can take them and they don't have to stay that natural color. So I'm using acrylic paints, and you can use any acrylic paints that you want. And I am mixing my acrylic paints with white just because these are dark and I want to make sure that the color pops. And I'm just sort of pouncing with a cosmetic makeup sponge to cover these. And I'm sort of darkening up the color. You can see that there. I'm also adding a little bit of gold for some shimmer so that it sort of goes through. I'm doing both sides. And then I want to make sure that they're really, really dry. So I'm going to hit that up with a heat gun to make sure that the paint's completely dry. So once the paint is dry, I'm taking this, this is a jewelry tool that I've had forever. It's actually used for a lot of metal work, and what it does is essentially punches a hole, and I'm just trying to line it up so that the hole punch is right in the middle of the stem, and once I've done that, you can see it creates a perfect little hole right there. And this is actually the moment where I discovered that these were chipboard and not wood, because the hole well, you can just see all the layers of sort of pressed together chipboard. Anyway, just add an earring hook and a jump ring, and you can see how easy it is. You have another pair of earrings. So let's move on to idea number 3. So you can see here I have just some deli paper that's painted and stenciled, and I'm just tracing out these shapes. And I'm not doing an exact trace or anything. I just want a sort of basic idea of the shape. So once I have the shapes cut out with scissors, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to glue those leaves onto there. And I'm just using matte medium to go ahead and do that because that's my adhesive of choice. You could use whatever your adhesive of choice is, as long as it's going to dry clear. And so then once I adhered those, I didn't like how plain the backs were, so I decided to add some gold paint to them. And it's kind of translucent, which is nice because it lets some of the rest of it show through, so it's not like, so it doesn't really look like I painted it. It could almost be gilded or something fancy, because remember, jewelry flips around and you can see it. Now there is some paper hanging off the edges, so I'm actually just taking an X-Acto knife and I'm working on a self-healing mat, and I'm just going ahead and cutting away some of that excess paper. And if you want to make it look super duper professional, clean and neat, one of the things you can also do is you can take some sandpaper and you can just go ahead and rub to make sure that any of those little flecks of paper are gone. So then I wanted to make it shiny, so I took some gloss medium and I put it on, and then once that gloss medium was on there, I decided to let it dry and just sort of see what it would look like. I was a little disappointed when it dried. It is kind of shiny, you can see that, but it isn't the kind of like blam shiny. So I decided to go with glossy accents instead. You could of course use something real that people really use for jewelry, like resin or something like that, but this is just a fake and easy way to get the look. If you get any air bubbles when you're working with the glossy accents, you want to make sure to pop those either with a pin or a craft knife or whatever else, so that you can have just a nice smooth surface. So you need to let that dry once all the bubbles are out, and once it dries, it is shiny and hard and fabulous, and in fact looks very much like resin. So I'm just going ahead and I'm punching holes in this tube because I need a place to put my hooks in. There you go, holes punched. Ooh, you can see how shiny it is. And the glossy accents, by the way, you may have noticed, does settle a little bit. So it had some little pits. And then I decided these are eye pins. And what I'm doing is I'm just stringing some beads on them. And then I'm just creating a wrapped loop, sticking it onto my leaf and adding an earring hook. And in no time at all, I have a schmancy fancy earring because it has those extra beads. And somehow the extra beads and the shininess of the glossy accents really makes these earrings look super professional and a lot more than what they are, which is essentially cheap Michael's chipboard and some beads and stuff like that. Now, I love long earrings, so for this last pair, I decided to take the idea of the beads and sort of even further. So I made these are sort of like shoulder duster earrings. They're very, very long. So they have dangly beads at the bottom, and then they're also going to have a dangle at the top, so they'll hang low. But I left the middle part very open, like a cage. You could, of course, paint it if you wanted to, but again, I'm really into that kind of natural wood look, and I think it has a kind of cool boho-ish feeling about it. And I'm just going ahead and adding all those, and you can see, boom, there they are in no time at all. I have another pair of sort of fabulous earrings, and I've used up a lot of miscellaneous red and white beads that I sort of had sitting around. So 4 fantastic pairs of earrings without spending a lot of money, super duper easy. For more tips, tricks, and tutorials, I hope you'll visit me over at balzerdesigns.com. Thanks so much.